Right, I'm about to say, it's hot. I'm having hot flashes. I'm like, okay, so when I go on there, what exactly?
You might go say, because I was trying not to
How
make.
far into it? You didn't do your research prior?
Yeah, yeah, you know
Did
I
you
do.
write down your damn questions?
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Hell yeah.
Who is Sadity P? Like the personality, the figure. Who is Sadity P? What makes you you?
Sadity P is the model. She's the diva. She's the I don't give a fuck about anything but what it is I have going on type shit. You know, like just, she's kind of raw and uncut. She's way different than Patricia. Not a lot of people get to see her. But social media sees Sadity P, the model, the tattoos, the craziness at times, probably a lot. But yeah, she's the working girl, the working towards what it is I want to do on the sideline, opposed to real life mom role model type. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not, I mean, she could be, because I guess I have a lot of people who do come at me because Sadity P is strong as well, and they ask how I do what it is I do, but I guess sometimes it just comes natural to certain people. It's not something learned, so I don't know.
So who is Patricia? Who is Patty?
Patty, Patricia, is the mom, the vegan, the one who wakes up every day and gives her mom insulin and goes to work and gets her kids ready for work, for school, and for work shit, and listens to my son talk about his life and is worried and focused on what it is I have to do to get them together before I get myself together, you know. Or what I have to do to get myself together in order to get them together, for real. So she's the responsible one that has to make the right decisions at all time, no matter what.
How much pressure do you feel in a lot of ways, like throughout your normal day? Because you're mentioning how you're a mom. We know that you do your modeling. You obviously have things going on with your family, taking care of other family members as well. How much pressure do you feel to be able to balance everything, like throughout a day or throughout your week? So as time goes on.
Um, I think some days I have more pressure than other days. Just depends. I'm so used to it, and I'm so routined when it comes to my life that um, some days I do feel pressure, a lot of pressure. Some days I get fed up. Some days I come home from work and I fucking cry. I'm a Pisces, I'm emotional, but I think it's good to have emotions and to let them out. So some days I feel pressure, but some days I don't feel pressure. I go through the day like it's nothing because I'm to it. One, two, three, four. You know how it's supposed to go. That's just, so I don't really. It's up and down.
All right, so um, you know we've discussed stuff like this before, but modeling. How did you get into modeling? I'm talking about take it back as far as you can go. How did you get into modeling?
Well, if I take it all the way back, um, I was really, really shy and like super shy. And I remember my mom and my Uncle Kenny used to take me to the parades all the time. And we went to a parade and I saw these twirlers. They twirled the baton and did all that stuff. And my mom was like, "You like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like it." I was 5. And she was like, "Well, let me see how I can get you into it." And so I ended up becoming a twirling sweetheart. And through that, I did. My twirl manager was her name was Patty Givens, and she was like, you know, we do these pageants. You would be great to do pageants, and so my mom was like, okay, yeah, we can get her into it. And so at 5, 6 years old, I started doing pageants. World's Most Beautiful pageant. We used to go to Avon Aquamarine all the time. I would lead the parades. I was like 6 years old, 7 years old, competing in pageants against like 13-year-olds and winning. And me really being the only biracial girl there was at the time. And they used to hate me. I used to go to school with a lot of them, and they used to hate me. Like the 13-year-olds would hate like a 6, 7 kindergarten first grader. You know, it was the parents used to hate me. They used to hate my mom. But it was crazy because my mom was like, if you want it, you can do this or you don't have to. It was never like pressure. It was something to get me to be who I was, me, you know, opposed to okay, you got to do this. You got, you know, if you don't win, bitch, this is a problem. Like, and I seen that as well with other people. So.
All right. So, you talked about, you know, being biracial. It's the number one. It's the one of the first questions I always get because, you know, they're like, what is P? What what is she? Is she? So what's your nationality? What, you know, what makes Sadity P, Patricia, Patty? What makes you?
I'm part human, part Martian.
Oh my God. I knew it, man.
My mom is Hungarian, and my father is black from the south side of Chicago, South Morgan. So I'm half black, half white.
There we go. God damn it.
Not Puerto Rican. Don't talk to me in Spanish. You will get dogged.
Everybody always, I'm not going to lie, always
Yeah, I'm
Puerto
not Puerto
Rican.
Rican. I'm not Hawaiian. Not Indian. Definitely not Arabic. I'm not none of them. Nothing.
Okay. All right. Now, when I'm, you know, doing the research for this episode of Dope Mom Sober Thoughts, when I'm reviewing your Instagram, I see that you are affiliated with the Suicide Girls.
Yeah.
And so I want to get into how that affiliation started with you.
I remember seeing the Suicide Girls with my brother, I think. He was watching like an HBO special way back in the day, and it was the Suicide Girls. And I had glanced into his room, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is this? I'm probably not supposed to, you know, see this in my brother's room.
I saw that too.
And so, you know, years went by, and, you know, when I was doing pageants and when I was doing regular modeling, I had really no tattoos. And so as I got older and when I saw that, you know, and I saw it on my own, and I'm like, they're fucking dope. Like, they're badass. They're modeling and they have tattoos, and they're more so like, they're not like Tyra Banks, you know, like they're not like prim and proper little, you know, they're like badass. So my brother and me were talking about modeling. He's like, you ever saw the Suicide Girls? And I'm like, yeah, you don't know that I seen them in your room. And so we were talking about it. My son was like, you should go try to be a Suicide Girl, Mom. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, I think that you would fit it. And so him and I went to the Suicide Girls, a Black Heart Burlesque show together, me, him, my friend, and his friend. And we were just watching the show, and Sonny's suicide came down from the back, because if you don't know anything about Suicide Girls, like when they come in and they do their Black Heart Burlesque show, like women take over everything, whether it's the bartenders, the stage manager, the DJ, the girls, like everything comes in, like they take over everything. And so Sunny is the road manager, and she's the scouter. She scouts girls, and she's a photographer, and she's an OG Suicide Girl. And so she had came down from the back, and I'm drunk. And so I'm watching the show, and she comes and she like does a circle around me. And my son was like, Mom, did you see? I think that's one of the Suicide Girls. She's like, watching you. And I'm like, for real? And he said, yeah. So she goes back upstairs. And she comes back down and taps me on the shoulder like, I think that you would fit, the Suicide Girl so well. Here's my card. Email me. And so that's what I did.
So, obviously, Suicide Girl stuff, and I know.
The lights are hot.
I don't know. Recently, if you've had any additions, is there a number? Do you have a number of how many tattoos you currently have?
The guy just asked me that when I was buying my Modelos yesterday, and I have no
idea.
Damn clue. I just tell him like 75-80% of my body. I still have some ways to go.
So what was your first tattoo? What was the first one?
My first tattoo was I have a sunflower on my left ankle, and
I was looking like it's all good.
All of it's good. Go ahead, you good. First tattoo.
It was on the left side of my ankle, and it's a sunflower, and it's poorly done, but I did it. My brother and I made a tattoo gun when I was 13. And I did it myself because my mom thought tattoos was weird and we would be freaks. So I was on the phone with my friend and I doodled on my leg, and I'll never get it done over because it's how everything started. So.
Okay. Also, I see with your Instagram, you use a hashtag a lot. It's hashtag my body is my diary. What does that mean to you, that statement in itself?
I think... Personally, this is my view, especially since I've had tattoos that were not meaningful and I had to get them covered over. I think that when you do get tattooed, I think that it should mean something. In some way, shape, or form, it should have some type of story. And if it don't, hey, fuck you. That's you. But for me, everything that I have means something. I can go ahead, if anybody asks about a piece on me, I can tell you a part of my history. So it's basically that. Like, my body is like my diary. Some people write it on paper. I choose to write it on my body. So as long as I'm here, I'm going to continue to get tattooed. As long as I keep writing parts of my history and still do whatever I do. I may put a microphone on me for being right here. I don't know, but damn it.
That would be, I'll be honored. You know what I'm saying? All right. Clear my throat. So, me and you first met through IM216 radio. And we got, you meet certain people and, you cool with them. You meet some people and, you made a friend with somebody for life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, but we met IM216 radio. I think we had it was a fun time. But what was your experience, feeling, explain your experience with IM216 radio as a whole.
First of all, IM216 radio, I've built a few relationships with some people that I will never give up. Like, I have lifelong friends now through IM216 radio. I feel like I was able to help some people as well down the line from that. You said my biggest learning experience?
Yeah, just
I think IM216 radio, in a whole, for me, helped me find my self-worth. It helped me grow into who I need to be. It helped me take a step back and analyze a lot of things. And I feel like I'm better now than I've ever been. And I don't think that I would necessarily be there if it wasn't for IM216 radio, because everything that happens for a reason. And if you don't think that way, then you may get lost somewhere mentally, I think, because everything in some way, shape, or form has to come together and then make sense.
Tell the answer.
No, it's
I'm gonna wrap it up.
Okay. Well, the last one I have is, you've already talked about being vegan since you've been here. What led you to the lifestyle of wanting to be vegan, and how have you seen changes in that for you?
A few years ago, about 3 years ago, I started being around someone who was now very influential in my life. And him being around during a crazy time helped me find myself as well. So with me being just around him, and he's such a strong-minded person, and so like just focused on what it is that life is, and where he needs to be, kind of rubbed off on me. And so he showed me, I was like, I've always been turned off to meat. Like, I've never really cared for meat. I've never liked to smell. I definitely hate ground beef. I hate the way the texture. It's just, so it wasn't really that hard for me to become vegetarian. Mm-hmm. It's because that's how I started. Mm-hmm. But he had me watch Forks Over Knives and like it just showed me a bunch of different things, and I started research and I started to educate myself, and with his help. So with me starting to educate myself, I'm like, damn, like I have heart disease in my family. I have my friends, my people have high blood pressure. And during that time, when I talk about influential person, I talk about my boyfriend, my other half, and his friend had, passed from diabetes, and he was young, like 25, So I'm like, damn, I definitely need to change some things up, because when I had my kids, I had to realize, like, I'm living for them now. I'm not living necessarily for myself, so I have to be there as long as I can. Mm-hmm. And that's what did it. And I would never change it. I feel better now than I've ever felt literally in my whole life. Like when I eat a meal, I don't feel lazy after my meal. Like I feel energized, and that's what being vegan is supposed to, like, that's how you're supposed to feel when you eat. You're not supposed to feel lazy after you eat, because you eat to survive, not to be to love it and be like a glutton and just like, you eat to survive. So I feel better now than I ever felt in my life.
So you touched a little bit on it. What, I have my own thing with love. I love love. When you think of love, when you think of what love means, what does it mean to you? What does love mean to Sadity P?
Love is, first of all, if you don't love yourself, and it may sound cliche or whatever, but it's really true. Like, the first thing to love is loving yourself, because if you can't properly love yourself, you can never properly love another person. And you have got to know your self-worth and know how to love yourself in order to do that for somebody else. And then when you do, I feel like love is putting somebody, like building them up to the next plateau, helping them become a better them, helping them find their worth if they don't know it, helping them, succeed at what it is for their dreams, or being selfless. Sometimes love is letting somebody go do what they have to do, if you know that that's what they need to do. Even though it may hurt you, you have to think, like, at the end of the day, it's going to be it'll benefit both of you guys, So love is sometimes being selfless. It's being, you can't be, I feel like jealousy is not a good thing, like you can't be jealous. You can't be like, of course other people are going to want, hopefully other people want what you have, like you just watch and smile from a distance, like, yeah, but know that he's not going to do, or she's not going to do nothing wrong, because you guys have that bond, I also feel like I was taught recently that it's crazy, because I feel like in 2018 people don't have this no more, and I feel like I, for the past year, have had this, and it's crazy because I've never had it before. But like when somebody can come into your life and get to know you mentally and get to fall in love with who you are as a person, and then have the physical come second, I feel like that's the way that you can really genuinely truly love somebody. Because in today's society, a lot of people go ahead and get into a relationship and they just instantly fuck, and you're learning the lust of each other. You're learning how to lust for each other. And at the end of the day, when you guys got to coincide, you're like, damn, I don't even fuck with this bitch. I don't even like this nasty nigga. Like, and you guys have nothing but a sexual relationship. You know, like my relationship, we learned each other. We learned what we didn't like. We learned what we liked. And we decided if we wanted to be together. And then we formed a physical connection. And it's nothing better. We're unstoppable. Like, there's, like, I've never been more solid in a relationship. I'm 40 years old. Never been more solid. So, I don't even know if I answered your question.
You did. You answered the fuck out of that question. You answered the fuck out of that question.